Gotcha. Please stand by. We'll be ready in just a second. We just lost connection.
So hello. Hi. So sorry, you all. We were having a little technical difficulty. So we are about to get started. And first and foremost, my name is Melanie Campbell. I'm president and CEO of the National Coalition on Black Civic Participation and the convener of the Black Women's Roundtable. So thank you all for joining us to participate in our first media briefing as a part of our NCBCP Ronald W. Walters Election Day National Command Center. We are having a historic moment, I'll say HBCU historic moment, where we this year we started this Election Day Command Center in 2006, and over the years we partnered with the Ron Walters Leadership and Public Policy Center at Howard University under the leadership of Dr. Elsie Scott, who you will hear from shortly. But this year, because we have a new NCBCP Thomas W. Deutsch Jr. Institute for Leadership, Civic Engagement, Economic Empowerment, and Social Justice, big mouthful, at Clark Atlanta University. Elsie and I got together and we said we were going to utilize both campuses to have a national command center with two locations. The location here at Clark Atlanta, we are focused on communications and messaging, but we have young students from Clark Atlanta and other schools across the city, and as well as Dr. Elsie Scott has young students and others, leaders, national and represent national and state organizations who are part of the command center. And we have our state leaders from several key states from across the country who will share. Those who represent the National Coalition and APRI primarily are on here today to share with us what's happening on the ground in real time. We will have a 1:30, 4:30, and 8:30 media briefing. So it's my pleasure to turn now over to Dr. Elsie Scott, who will give us an update on what's happening in Washington, D.C. at the Ron Walter Center at Howard University. Elsie, turn it over to you.
Does anyone see Dr. Scott on? I don't see her. Does she need to be let in?
As I said before, technology is wonderful when it works. So as Elsie works through her technology issues, we're going to turn it over to our illustrious national leader, who's national president of A. Philip Randolph Institute, Ms. Cleola Brown, who will give us her open remarks. She's our national partner. And then we will move, hopefully, back to Elsie. I do see a couple of other of our national partners. I see Victoria Kirby York from the National Black Justice Coalition. We'll come to you. And if we have any other national partners, we'll bring them on. And then we will go alpha order to the states to find out. And we ask everybody to do 1 or 2 minute updates. And then if we have any media questions at the end, we'll do that. Thank you. Cleola, turn it over to you.
Unmute. All right, I hope you can hear me now. Hello, everybody.
Ms. Cleola,
Happy.
unmute.
I am according to this piece. Can you hear me now? Thanks a lot. Well, let me just say, I'm always happy when I look at the screen and see the sisters and brothers that are on the screen this afternoon. There's a lot going on everywhere. And if I was a drinking woman, a serious drinking woman, I would have started drinking probably about 3 hours ago. But right now, here in the District of Columbia, we're hearing a ton of stuff that makes absolutely no sense, but then that's not unusual. What is amazing is that we're getting good news from our chapters around the country about the activities that they're engaged in and some of the good things that are happening. So what I'd like to do, and I'm following your lead now, is to say that in all the years that we've been doing this piece at Howard and throughout the work that we've done in the pockets as partners, this year has been really so different. There's a feeling that you can't quite grab a hold of. We always knew who to be mad at, and that character does not change from time to time. But the nature of the dissent that's out there is just really mind-boggling. I see one of our presidents out of Macon, Georgia, Eddie White. Hello, my brother. I also saw Melvin Mumford a moment ago, and one of our sisters who's just rocking it out, Danielle Brown. I saw her on the screen just a little while ago as well. But what I'd like to do is just to say hello to everyone that's on the screen. And when I can follow the pattern that we'll be using the rest of the afternoon, I will do so by calling on some of them individually to bring us up to speed at almost 2 o'clock this afternoon on what's happening on the ground in the state in which you are served. And at the end, I'd like to talk a little bit about what we're seeing here in DC. Does that work well for you, Mel?
Thank you, Cleola. We've been doing, and Cleola, I tell you, we've been out this, you've been here longer than me, but we've been out here a long time, and this is definitely one for the record books. But we're not gonna let the devil steal our joy, and I think our people are turning out. I saw Victoria. Did I miss her? Did she drop off?
No, she's there.
I'm here.
Oh, okay. So Victoria Kirby York from National Black Justice Coalition. Any opening remarks?
I'm here. My video is acting up a little bit. Hey, everybody. It's so good to be with you. I'm Victoria Kirby York, the Deputy Executive Director at the National Black Justice Coalition. And I'm here outside of the DC Command Center. I should probably drop my little backdrop, but I'm glad to be with you all. The thing that I would say is that in conversations that I've had with some of our partners across the country, people are excited about the election and hopeful. People are engaging on the issues that matter. And when it comes to the Black LGBTQ plus and same gender loving community in particular, there is some appreciation that as some folks have been trying to provide some distraction and division within the Black community when it comes to issues regarding the transgender community, that Black voters aren't having it. Especially Black mamas, we're hearing are clear that some of the genitalia checking that people have been calling for and some of the mailers that have come out would have really harmful effects, especially on all girls. People are reminded of the US Olympics and what recently just happened when parents weren't a part of those kinds of processes related to the healthcare of those girls and the molestation that took place that have really scarred some of these women for the rest of their lives. And so there are a lot of Black voters who have seen through some of those smoke screens and attempts to try to separate the Black community. And that's one of the—
They see your face.
Victoria?
Yep.
Were you finished? I know you weren't finished.
Yeah,
were you?
I heard something
Yeah.
in the background.
Yeah, that was Elsie getting on, and she'll come on after you. Finish your thought. Yeah.
Yep. So that's been given a lot of members of our community a lot of hope. There's also been some recent polling data out that was done that highlighted the support from the Black community, and particularly the Black church, regarding the LGBTQ plus community. And that's also buoyed some of our organizations that we've been in connection to, who've been hitting the pavement, talking to voters, and ensuring that our community comes out to vote. And if there are issues with voter identification, especially for transgender and non-binary folks, that they know to ask for a provisional ballot, and that they also know that 1-866 Our Vote is a resource, as well as the Department of Justice Office of Civil Rights and their local FBI field offices. And so making sure that people know that even if public accommodations don't protect them all throughout the rest of the year, on election day, there are protections that they have in some of the spaces that are polling places. And that information has also been helpful for some folks in our community who thought it might just be a little too uncomfortable for me to go vote today because my states don't have laws that include me. Having that information has helped some of those folks make the decision to go to the polls. So we're trying to continue to get that information out.
Thank you, Victoria. Is Dr. Elsie able to get on now? Is she, Victoria, is she there with you? Can she come to your computer?
Yeah, I'm in the lobby. I'll
Okay.
go right up.
Right. I think she's coming now. I think I see her coming.
But I'll head up the elevator. So
Okay, there she is. There she is. So thank you, Victoria. So Dr. Elsie Scott, okay, we say, like I said, technology works when it works. So turn it over to you to bring any remarks and tell us what's happening at the Ron Walter Center with the National Command Center. And then we're going to
Good
go
afternoon,
to
everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. I'm here with Lauren Walls and students from Howard University. We're having a very busy day doing research. And we've also had the president of the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation came in and spoke to the students. So we have probably about 30 students that have been participating here at Howard. We also have 2 interns from the Congressional Black Caucus Foundation and 2 interns from the National Justice Coalition, and 1 student from the University of District of Columbia. So we're having a very, very busy day, very busy.
Thank you, Elsie, and thank you, and waving to all the folks who were there with you at Howard. So if we could put Elsie on mute for the background. Okay, so we're gonna go quick round robin. And before I do, are there any of the national partners on the line that we don't know you're here? Okay, so we're gonna go to our leaders. I'm gonna say our national leaders who live in states. How about that? Because we're all national leaders at the end of the day. So we're gonna start. I see Letitia Daniels Jackson from Alabama for Dothan. Letitia, we're gonna go to you. Tell us what's happening down on the ground in Alabama.
Okay, good morning, everyone. So our day started off with issues at the polling places. We have people who have been on the roads and have been voting for all of their lives practically, whose names suddenly have disappeared from the voting rolls. We have, and we know that this is a nonpartisan event, but we have reports that the straight party ticket ballots that people are trying to cast are being kicked out of the system for one of the parties in the straight ballot voting. So that's an issue. We had one of our polling places. We had the poll workers inside themselves call the police on our people that are outside doing exit polls. We were able to squash that, and they were able to stay there and continue to do the exit polling. But just all kinds of things that are designed to suppress the vote, intimidate the vote. We have one polling place where they have sheriffs standing in the front of the building as people come to vote, which is something that has not normally in the past happened, but in the last couple of elections, we've seen an increase in this level of intimidation. But we have people that are out there. The numbers have been so far this morning steady at all of the polling places we've checked so far. But those are some, and we've encouraged, and we have flyers with the 1866 Our Vote phone number on it. So we're encouraging all of our workers and other people and voters that encounter problems to call and report it to that number so we can have a record of all of these issues.
Thank
And
you.
that's pretty much the update from the South Alabama. I'm not
Okay.
sure if Sheila is on, but that's from South Alabama.
Okay, thank you, Letitia. I'm gonna go. I see Brother Melvin Mumford from the great state of North Carolina. If we could have you and any other folks from, I think Brother Mumford from North Carolina, A. Philip Randolph Institute. What's happening in North Carolina?
Okay. Well, I've called around of our field teams and phone bankers, and I really don't have a lot of bad things that are going on in the report. Here in North Carolina, we're excited that it's election day. We've been working towards this day since like August of last year. So we're glad it's finally here and we're excited about it. Our numbers are good. Right now, as far as midterm across the state, the numbers are higher than they were in 2018, which is what we were hoping for. I see Ms. Williams, Denisha Williams on the call, and she can say something when she wants to. But it's been a pretty smooth program. We do this a lot, and we expect some people to have to deal with dogs and being cursed out and threatened. So for us, that's not unusual. But our canvas leaders are trained to deal with that stuff. So until it escalates above that regular stuff, there's nothing here that I have to report on that, except that we have 7 command centers that are all working today and been working, and we have 1 training center in Blaytonboro, and I'm at the CCC, which is the Central Control Center in Raleigh. So we've been hard at it. We got over 400 people working, including canvassers and phone bankers and data entry people. We're looking forward to getting the results at the end of the day because we think they're going to be favorable. So we're excited about the day, but we just haven't heard a whole lot of crazy things going on, not that we've heard. Ms. Williams, you got anything you want to add to that?
Hello, everybody. Oh, let me turn my camera on. Sorry about that. There I go. Hey. Yeah, it's been great here at North Carolina. There has been minor things like, some of the cameras have had pigs chase them. Puppy dogs chase them, more pigs chase them, roosters chase them. But that was good eating though. We ate good. So yeah, keep sticking your pigs and chicken on it. We like that pork and them chicken wings, chicken legs. But real talk though, it all depends on what you call intimidation. There has been some vulgar thing, calling out of names and racial slurs and whatnot. But we just shake it off and say, you go in there and vote. Don't pay that no attention. And that's what the folks have been doing. We've had to send other people, other canvassers and staff down these locations just to supervise, just to make sure they know that protection number they can call if they're having issues or whatnot. But people are really excited that organizations like ourselves are out there letting them know, like, man, don't forget what they're saying. You know what you came here to do, go and do it. And they're doing it. We are seeing first-time voters going out voting, from high school students to senior citizens voting for the first time, 60-some years old. All right, so the message is clear. The assignment is clear. We have folks now with the new laws and felon laws going out that didn't think they would ever get to vote. But in North Carolina, they now can vote because they're not in prison or jail. So the excitement around that, of course, the HBCUs are doing their thing. But throughout North Carolina, yeah, there's always going to be somebody want to be a gangster, but we got bigger, badder gangsters in North Carolina, so we ain't worried about that. We're going to do this thing. We're doing this thing. The numbers show it. As he said earlier, that the numbers have increased in our early vote numbers and the turnout and whatnot. So yeah, we just waiting for the night because this is the favorite day of the year, Election Day. This is what it's all about. So that's pretty much what I report. We're just kicking it over here in North Carolina. Doing videos and TikToks and reminding all generations, we did a PD Pablo, turn it up, put your shirt in the air, and swing it like a helicopter. Go out and vote. North Carolina, turn up, show out. That's what we do.
Okay, that just got about 100 more people to show up and vote. We're gonna go to
Well, can I ask Denisha to tell one story, please?
Okay, go ahead, Cleo.
Denisha, would you tell us?
I think you muted, Miss Mama Brown.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to tell them about our young activist that was out there passing out leaflets and what he said to his mother.
Oh yeah, we had
lifted and she gave it to me. Please tell that story.
we had a young man. He's 7 years old. His mother is actually a full-time part of our staff and has been for the last 2.5 years. Yesterday she picked him up from school. Now let me give you the back end. He's done work with us, volunteer work and small stipend work with us in the past and whatnot. But this year, she picked him up from school and he's like, "Mommy, don't take me to grandma's house. I want to go with you." She's like, "Son, I gotta go back to work. I've got doors to knock on. I gotta make sure people know about the election day and et cetera, et cetera." He says, "Mommy, I want to go too. I want to go knock on doors too." She was like, "Well, son, you're not gonna get paid for this, son. You're just not gonna get paid for this." He said, Mommy, sometimes you gotta realize you gotta be a volunteer. You gotta volunteer and educate people on how important it is for them to vote and what their rights look like, Mommy. So I don't need no money, Mommy. I know this needs to be done. That they have got to go vote tomorrow, Mommy. So I'm not worrying about no money. And she was like to tears and crying, and she shared it with me that this 7-year-old, who is a long ways from being eligible to vote, gets it. The volunteer piece and also the importance of Election Day.
Thank you, Danica. We're gonna go to Mississippi And we're gonna stay in the South, and then we're gonna go to another part of the country. I think Cassandra Washington is on and has to jump off really quickly, and then we're gonna come to Louisiana, Vincent, and Mississippi's got a lot going on, and we heard some crazy stuff going on in Louisiana when it comes to some suppression activities and actually some lot going
Hey,
on.
everybody.
So Mississippi
thank
and
you.
Louisiana.
Thank you, Melanie. Can you all hear me? Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you all. We do have a lot going on the ground, particularly in Jackson, Hinds County. We've had a lot of voter intimidation, and our civic engagement coordinator is on the call, who can just bring you up to speed on what's been going on. I'll turn it over to Tony Johnson.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone, and happy election day. So just to cut straight to the point on the updates here from Jackson, Mississippi, Hinds County, we are the largest county in the state. Early this morning, about 2:45, we had overnight fires that broke out all across the city of Jackson, all particularly in predominantly Black areas. We had 7 locations, several churches, Greater Bethlehem Temple, Epiphany Church, a baseball field on the campus of Jackson State University, a gas station on Terry Road, which is right next door to Jackson State University, Central and Dalton Street, Pascagoula Street, and Terry Road, all areas that are in the Black community around HBCU. Jackson State University does have a polling location on campus. We have been in contact with our Secretary of State as well as the FBI. None of the polling locations were shut down. We did have a couple of them that opened late, only because they're fire stations, and these particular fire stations were battling these blazes. And so they were more in a domino effect. Like I said, they started about 2:45 and they went up until about 6:00 a.m., which is when our poll workers report, and polls open at 7 a.m. here in the city. But as far as the turnout goes here in Jackson, across the state, the turnout has been really, really well. We don't see where more of the voter intimidation has been successful, but those were some really, really, really intimidating and just point blank straight attempts to, we think, deter voters. And so, like I said, we've been in contact with the Secretary of State as well as the FBI to just kind of gauge that and to report the facts in the locations and see where that's going. But so far, so good as far as turnout. We think that turnout for 2022 is peaking the last midterm, as well as our absentee voting. We had about 20,000 in the county prior to election day. So we'll be happy to check back in, but Jackson State is rolling well. That is the precinct that is on the historically Black college. They've got everything they need. They have not been shut down. The students are coming out in record numbers, which is really, really good. And across the state and the county, voting has not been deterred. So we're keeping a close eye on that. We'll report back. But again, there were 7 locations in the metro area, predominantly Black areas in the city of Jackson, where blazes broke out early this morning, about 2:45 up until about 6 a.m.
Thank you, Tony, and keep us up to date. Anything happen, we want to make sure that we get that out. My understanding, the media is really not covering what's going on.
They're not.
So yeah, they need, and so we wanted to make sure right now, Roland Martin Unfiltered is covering, and any other media listening, and we'll make sure we follow up. Our comms team will follow up after this. Vincent Sylvain, I'm not sure if Gwen is on with you. Louisiana Unity Coalition. And we heard about Kenner. Tell us what's going on. And y'all, we're gonna need y'all to be short because we know you got to get back in the field. I apologize, but we need to have 1 to 2 minute updates.
I'm going to be
and then we can come back on again at 4:30.
Yeah, I'm going to be very brief. Good news is in terms of the Secretary of State website, that website is back online and is fully functional. Still trying to find out what was the cause of the problem. We think it was an overload of voters trying to gather information. The bigger news was that there's a bomb threat in Kenner, Louisiana. Kenner is where if you fly into New Orleans, that's the community where the airport is located. And apparently this bomb threat was emanated from somewhere in Michigan. They do have now election officials on the scene that's redirecting the voters to another community, another location where they can go ahead and vote, which is about 2 miles away. And that's about all the information we have at this time.
Thank you, Vincent. Keep us up to date on what's happening. We're gonna go to Florida next. I think I saw Solange Benton. Anybody else? I don't think we have anybody else from Louisiana.
Happy Voters Day. So yeah, mine is real quick. So we've been real busy since 7 o'clock this morning. They've been reporting around in Dade County, North Dade County. They've been busy since 7 o'clock this morning with lines at the region. Some people have been coming and showing up at the wrong polling precincts, but they're helping the supervisor election, and folks in there is helping them get the right location, and we're taking them to the polls. Our activists on the ground, taking them to the correct place so they can cast their vote. In Orlando, again, they have not slowed down. I've been very, very busy since 7 o'clock at the polls. Lines at 7 o'clock was around, so they're turning out. They did have a little problem where they had to move in one particular church. They had to move into another section because they had some structure problems. Also, we do have a little problem in West Palm Beach because we got another hurricane coming. So they've been warned to know it down there. So we having a little bit of where we normally have a higher turnout. Engagement down is slow because they're putting out a hurricane warning and asking folks to really be safe about that. And also we have our students over in Orlando at Valencia College. They're helping those young people get to their polling sites. So that's our report right now for the 1:30.
Thank you much. I know APRI Florida, Miami is clear. Is Miami on? Is Miami on? APRI Miami?
No, Miami's not
Okay.
on yet.
Okay, we'll be doing that with 4:30. Yeah, for obvious reasons, right? Yeah. So maybe if they can do 4:30 the next.
We've got Danielle Brown that's on right now, and she's all
Can you give
over
us
the
an
place.
update?
And I
Okay, Danielle, you want to tell us what's happening from Florida?
So yeah,
Hey
hey
there.
everybody, good to see everybody on the call. I have quite a few states right now that's going on. Right now I'm currently in North Carolina. We just marched 150 students from Johnson C. Smith to the polls, so they're all voting right now as we speak. So that's amazing. We've been marching students to the polls for the last couple of weeks. So I think our max number was at close to 230. So between all of that, multiple marches, the students can't say the students ain't going to vote here in North Carolina. In Florida right now, I just got word that basically the sky has opened up. So people are shifting a lot of the on the ground efforts to the phones. And basically we're trying to keep a watch and see who can get back out and what that's going to look like over the next couple of hours with this storm that's coming in. The other piece of it is too, the media is really, really pushing the storm and not the election. So there's a lot of people talking about the storm and not the election, which is the real storm that they're gonna have after the storm. So we're trying to really, really narrow that down and figure out how we can get more media in that space to actually cover what's going on at the polls and in that space of the numbers versus the storm. The storm is important because we need people to be alive to go vote, but at the same time, we got to figure out what that balance is. So that's happening there. Talking to some of the folks over in Michigan this morning, it looks like there was a lot of reports going on with folks having wrong information, people being turned away. It was a lot of different things going on this morning in Michigan. But the good thing about it is people are reporting it. This is like the record number of reports across the country that they've ever seen because people are not letting it go. They're not saying, hey, look, oh, it's okay, or I'm just not going to go. They're actually staying there, reporting it and making sure that it gets recorded. So that's the space of Michigan. Talked to Tennessee a little while ago. Of course, they have right to work on the ballot. So they are pushing really, really hard to get people to polls to ensure that right to work does not pass. in Tennessee. The numbers look really, really great. The issue is Tennessee has one of the longest ballots in the country. It also has slavery on the ballot as well. So we're telling people and encouraging people to start from the bottom up versus starting from the top down, in order to make sure that we're capturing all of the ballot initiatives that we have in Tennessee, because again, it has one of the longest ballots in the country. And the last but not least, we were talking to some folks in Alabama a little while ago, and they had an issue with some of the seniors being told, people saying they couldn't pick the seniors up to go vote, that type of thing. So I think they kind of got some of that worked out as well earlier today, and kind of figuring out what that looks like for folks, but that's not the case. People absolutely can give folks a ride to the polls in Alabama. We encourage it. And so we're also encouraging people, you know, right now to be a voter supporter. Like if you can't do anything else all day long, be somebody's voter support. If that means you are taking them to the polls, if that means you're bringing 5 other people with you to go with you to the polls, if that means you are calling your network or sending a text message that says, hey, did you go vote, and holding people accountable in your network, whatever that looks like, we're asking people to please, please, please be a voter support. Close that, please. Close that, please. So that we can ensure that we are not just hitting one person, we're hitting multiple people across the board. So that's the report I got right now. I guess I'll see y'all at 4:30 with another one.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm going to move to the Midwest. I think I see Petey Talley from Ohio. Well, to start us off. Petey, are you there? I know she's there. Petey Talley? Unmute yourself if you can. Can you unmute her? Okay. Keep it moving. I see Virginia. We'll go down here. I see Laverne Chapman with the Nova Coalition. Laverne, we'll turn it over to you. And I think we have somebody also. Did I hear Petey? No? Okay. So Laverne, turn it over to you. And I think we have someone also from Central Virginia, APRI will follow you next from Richmond. Okay.
Fantastic. We moved out of Northern Virginia this morning, so just steady traffic coming. 2 things. We noticed a lot of families were coming out voting together, and seniors. We saw a lot of seniors and a lot of families. We moved out to Prince William County, Woodbridge, Virginia, saw an elderly Black woman who took a bus to vote, and buses don't run regularly in that area. So anecdotally, we're seeing people who are coming out for the first time, voters, a lot of families voting. We have it's been steady, not heavy, but just steady. We're getting ready to branch out to the 7th district, a little further out in the rural areas. We heard that some people were showing up where they got mailed the wrong voting precinct, and we had people trying to correct that. So we want to check on that. But Northern Virginia looks absolutely fine. Prince William County looks good, and we want to make sure that further out they're not issues. Thanks, Mel.
Thank you. Richmond, APRI. I'm looking for you. You on?
You ready for
Jones,
me?
Hey, there you go. You over in my corner box. Yes, turn it over to you, brother. Okay. We ready?
You ready for me, Melanie?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Thank you. This is Kirk Jones with Central Virginia Chapter APRI. I thank Melanie and our illustrious president, Cleola Brown, for this opportunity. We've been blessed by beautiful weather here in the Richmond area. Turnout has been slow for the precincts that we've been monitoring so far. Hopefully we can attribute that to a lot of people did take advantage of early voting. So far, we've only had normal problems, people who changed their addresses close to the deadline and had to go to their old precincts to vote, or we've had a few uncooperative election officers who will not give us the counts when we did our precinct checks. And we're going to expand our roving precinct checks to the county areas of Henrico and Chesterfield this afternoon. And hopefully we'll have an updated report, not at 4:30, but we will try to definitely be on at 8:30. Thank you.
Thank you. I see LaWanna Brown from Maryland. LaWanna.
Uh-oh, I'm so sorry. Got my camera turned around. Apologies. You know what? I'll just turn it off. Okay, can you all hear me? Apologies for that.
Yes. No problem, LaWanna.
Thank you. I don't want to take a whole bunch of time, so let me just kind of run down what we have going on here, BWR, Maryland, and DC. Right now, we have canvassers that are in 2 of our PG County districts, precincts, excuse me, and then we also have exit poll workers in 2 other of our precincts here. We have some pop-ups going on here in the PG area from 12 to 6. One is at Suitland High School. The other one is at Benjamin Lewis Creative Performing Arts Academy. And those pop-ups are going on from 12 to 6. So people who are showing up at those pop-ups with their I voted sticker, they're getting, you know, prizes and free food, which is great. We're hearing that those are going fantastic. We have radio spots running all day long, as well as media presence pushing people to the polls. We partnered with GoGo Radio as well as mainstream radio, especially WPGC, to run ads to get people to the polls today. We also have the Lyft rides that are going great, and people are utilizing that service and getting to the polls. And then finally, our partner, Community of Hope AME Church, Reverend Tony Lee, is conducting interviews all throughout the day on WPGC radio here in the DC area. And he's talking with voters in the area to just kind of see what's going on, what they're thinking, how they're feeling about the process. But as far as people at the polls, we haven't had any issues thus far. So we are just so grateful that right now everything is smooth sailing, knocking on wood, that runs throughout the rest of the day.
Thank you. I think we have covered. Have we missed anybody to report out? Oh, PD Tally's back. Sorry, PD. All right.
Hi, good afternoon, Melanie, and everybody else on this call. I'm PD Talley. I'm the convener of the Ohio Coalition on Black Civic Participation. And I'm sorry I had to go off camera because I got an unexpected flurry of where do I go vote? I showed up at the wrong place, which is what we have about 12 of our coordinators out on the street, along with another 15 poll monitors who are monitoring 52 polls across the in 6 cities here in the state of Ohio. Voting has been pretty consistent and steady, but people are having challenges knowing where they go vote. And so our team has a lookup tool that they can quickly assist voters and direct them to the correct polling location. Because if they're in the correct polling location and they have to vote a provisional ballot, it's likely going to count, because in the state of Ohio, a provisional ballot can update your voter registration on election day as long as you have everything else. So it's great that we're there. We've been able to pull a number of exit surveys. People want to talk to us and tell us about their experience, Melanie. So we'll have some great data to send back to the National Coalition about people's experience on election day. We have radio ads continuing, and our folks still are on the phones. We've got a good, 4 more hours that we can push people toward the polls on election day, and we're not letting up until that happens. It's encouraging to be out at a polling location and see so many people come in, and people are upbeat about going in and voting. They're not looking at this as something that they're drudging to do. They're happy to be there. They believe their vote is making a difference, and we're happy for that. So that's what's going on in the state of Ohio. No big major issues. In fact, we got long lines in the county that I live in Lucas County, and I'm proud of that. And hopefully we will have a great turnout, particularly in the Black wards and precincts that we targeted throughout the summer. So thank you for this opportunity to mobilize voters in the great state of Ohio.
Thank you so very much. We have one more report out about Texas, and you introduce yourself and tell us who you are and what organization.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abdul Dasundu. I'm with the Young Black Lawyers Organizing Coalition. We're a network of young Black lawyers and law students who are mobilizing to protect the vote across the country in 7 key states. One of our states is Texas. And this morning already in Texas, we have seen reports in Tarrant County, which is a major county there. It's Fort Worth, the Fort Worth area of Texas. If you've heard of Dallas-Fort Worth, we've seen reports there of widespread machine malfunctions across the county, late openings. And so we have been working with our partners in the election protection community to respond to those issues. Several of them have come in directly to us. We've reported them to election protection, and we have also been working with the media to get the word out to our communities about what they should do if they confront machine malfunctions or late openings. And so we've been active, we've been working. We have been engaged in voter education, even today, to make sure that our communities have the resources they need to protect their vote in this election. And of course, we reiterate that if voters encounter any issues while voting, voter intimidation, machine malfunctions, they should immediately call the Election Protection Hotline at 866-OUR-VOTE. There are lawyers on that hotline who are prepared to respond in real time.
Thank you so much. So we're going to close this out for our first media call. Thank you all. We know everybody has to be on the ground. On the 4:30 call, we have students here from mostly Clark Atlanta, as well as Metropolitan in Atlanta, that we're going to have them give us a report. And I don't know, Elsie, if you're going to have any of the students from Howard and some of the other schools to report out what they're hearing on that 4:30 call. So we want to, those who are comfortable speaking to the press, we want to have them have an opportunity to speak at 4:30, along with our national leaders and state leaders in states. So thank you all so very much. Elsie, any closing words? If she's still there, I think she's still there. Elsie, any closing words from Howard?
No, we are busy doing research. So most of the students are in there trying to collect data on election across the country. And so if you want somebody to report out on what they've been doing, we can have them ready to report out at 4:30.
Thank you. All right. Thanks, everybody. Be safe.
Mel, we do have Macon, Georgia on the line. Eddie White.
Okay, go ahead. If they're on, then go ahead, Macon. Where are we at? On the participant side?
Yeah, Eddie White. He's on the line.
Mr. White, is Eddie White? Tell us what's going on in Macon.
I'm here, guys. I'm here. I apologize. I'm multitasking today. Hey, guys, coming to you from Macon, Georgia. You can hear the noise out, right? We got 30 people out here. We got signs. We got people all over the town. Haven't had many problems. I talked to my counterparts at the NCBCP. They said one location, they was giving them a problem over there, but they called and got that taken care of. It's been a steady trickle of people going in. I think they're getting ready to get off, the people that's worked for today that like to vote on election day. But we've been here for the last month, and things been going on for early voting. We had 20, almost 25,000 blacks vote in this county alone. And so that's about 50% of what we got, about 53,000 male and females. So we're excited about what's going on. We're just going to be here until the polls close. We got people out canvassing the areas, waving signs. We're doing it down here. We're bringing them across the finish line. You know what I'm talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Eddie White. All right, so thank you all so very much, and we will be back on the same link that you have at 4:30 and again at 8:30.